So once again, a fascinating property, at least to me. Here we've got dampness at the top of a relatively modern, well, 1960s flat. And listen to the survey, and at the end I'll take you through all the reasons and causes. So you say that this is mould spray, but not all of the dampness is mould spray. So there's condensation up there, despite double glazing. There's condensation there. You can see there's condensation. See the glistening. And obviously it continues, and then we got mould into there. So we got mould here, all the way down. Then you can see condensation. Glistening, of course. There's condensation. If it was penetrating damp, you'd see a brown stain. You wouldn't have running water as well. So from a British standard point of view, 10 is fairly average, but 15 is what we're looking for. So I'll see if I can improve it. The problem, or one of the problems, is the porcelain is blocking the flow of air. Just measured the air exiting and it's the same as entering, so it should be fine. The only thing is there's a bit of wind outside, so I was testing the outside airflow. This is looking inside the fan. There's not a huge amount to say. The problem is the ducting and the porcelain exit from the ducting. But I will try and clean it a bit. So I've increased it to 12.2. This kitchen extractor fan doesn't go out, it just recycles up here. You can feel the air coming out. Bathroom one is better now. It's actually pretty, apart from the fact that I'd like to have an overrun, but there's no legal requirement for that. But it's just, you need to know that 50% of the, 90% of the vapor remains in the bathroom after you stop having a shower. So you need to have the door closed and the extractor fan running, and you can just do that manually by keeping the light on. But always keep the door closed. So the standard is below 300, but it's damp where it's well above that. It's 999 at the top. You have to be aware that with plants, that all the water you give to plants comes back out as moisture, as vapour. She's very grateful of them, but anyway, it's just... That's same for pets as well. Take it out through the dehumidifier. It's quite angry, this wall, isn't it? And these salts are calcium sulfate salts. And you can see, those look like condensation dribble marks. I say that because it's been sprayed with anti-mold spray, which will dribble as well. You need to make sure this dew point is always below the outside temperature. Dew point measures the amount of vapor in air and expresses it as a degree centigrade. It's coming down, it has been in the chamber with the salt and water, so it's always going to be higher. It will take about half an hour to correct itself. But so long as you keep that below the outside temperature, you won't have a condensation and mold problem. And the way you do that is by increasing ventilation, so leaving the bathroom fan running for at least half an hour with the door closed. I would, with the kitchen, I would keep the door closed and open the window when cooking steamy things. Drying clothes, obviously the dehumidifier, but ideally with the door closed and the dehumidifier going, and obviously the canister. And just crack open the window if you ever need to. All you have to remember is the outside dew point, so the vapor outside is going to always be below the outside temperature. The only time when it isn't is when it's raining, which is when the dew point exactly equals the outside temperature. But you'll find that ventilation is nowhere near as good when it's raining because you've got high vapor levels outside. So obviously when you're blowing air out, it's being replaced by air from the outside. So it you're getting not as good a return on the amount of ventilation when it's raining outside. That's why when a lot of people say we get lots of moisture on the inside when it's raining outside, well, that can still be condensation. It doesn't dribble through walls. You get penetrating damp, but if you have penetrating damp, you'd have a brown stain. It would be really distinctive. But you can look at all the videos that I've got, and it shows you what the differences are. So that's the tip. Keep that below the outside temperature by ventilation and dehumidification. You've got a target, you'll know what to do, and it'll be fine. So this is looking through a thermal imaging camera where blue is cold. So the reason that you're getting mold and condensation is because of heat loss, but it comes from excess vapor. But the explanation for why you're getting it here as opposed to somewhere else is because of the heat loss. And behind cupboards you don't get the flow of air, so that's why you get a build-up of vapor, but you don't get the heat from the radiator, despite the radiator being within a very short distance. It's not the air can't flow in through there, but the vapor can. So you get a build-up of surface relative humidity, and mold behind the cupboard. Humidity goes above 85% for a long period of time. But I'll find out what's causing the excess vapor. So have a look at the data loggers. I've used the data loggers on my artificial intelligence created site, which analyzes it, creates a graph. It's useful to see the graph over time. If you reflect back on what happened yesterday, the last week, you'll know whether perhaps people were coming to stay. There was lots of cooking, there was lots of using the bathroom extractor fan, or that was the day you were washing clothes. You'll know better than I will do. But if you look, the green line is the surface relative humidity. The importance of that is that it reflects the temperature, and I take the temperature from the thermal image, and I can see that most of the time you're at or close to 100% where condensation takes place, and we saw condensation during the survey. The grey line at the bottom is also really important, and that's the dew point differential. That dew point measures the amount of vapor in air expressed as a degree centigrade. The dew point differential shows me that there's more vapor coming from the bathroom than the rest of the flat, which tells me that that's where the primary cause of the vapor is. The easiest solution is just keep the bathroom extractor fan running for as long as you can. I am going to suggest to the landlord to replace the extractor fan with a continuous flow extractor fan. The benefit of that is it will have a boost function when it senses humidity and for a period of time after the light's pulled for typically half an hour, but then it will just gently blow air out. And the challenges your fan has got is that, one, you've got the grill on the outside, the porcelain grill, which is reducing the airflow. It will always reduce the airflow, plus there's quite a long duct that is going to reduce the airflow as well. So continuous flow is a really good way to go. Personally, I think it's better to have a kitchen extractor fan, but because so few people actually ever use them, it's a marginal gain, and obviously a dehumidifier to keep the dew point below the outside temperature, and also whenever drying clothes internally. And you've got to recognize that a dog and plants all add vapor to the air, and it's the vapor that's causing the mold. It's not coming from the outside, it's coming from the inside, it's coming from life, and we all live, and modern living is more vapor generating than it ever used to be. So do leave a comment, do subscribe, and I'll see you at the next video.